G'day and welcome to Insights and Storytellings with me, Moon Willow. It's a real privilege and honour to have you on board with me. I really appreciate it. Right, I'm having, and I don't know about anybody else out there, but it feels like I'm having a real test of patience at the moment with everything. Especially the energy's going off and my hair by the looks of it at the moment. But anyway, I'm not normally a vain person, but there you go. And the reason why I'm having a test in patience is that for all the other day I ended up catching up on my sleep, so didn't attempt to do one of these. And then yesterday I did two. One was around the root and the other was around the crown, and really looking into how important it is at the moment to be really rooted in our truth and our center, and making sure that our foundations are really quite firm at the moment, because everything feels all over the shop. And then I've just done another one earlier today. Didn't finish it not 5 minutes ago, and it uploaded 22 minutes, which was really good. Unfortunately, I did almost 32 minutes worth of storytelling. So hence the fact that I feel like it's a real test in patience at the moment. But I thought I'd jump straight back on and have another go, and we'll see where everything takes us within there. And it may be that I end up weaving the story back around the three, but I'm intrigued now to find out what else is going to come out. And yeah, I have a real sense that this is important to do, which is why I keep plodding with it and doing it. And I really appreciate you sitting there and listening to me going on about the fact that I couldn't get them out. But hey, so I'm going to see which chakra is okay. So we've got carnelian again, and the reason why I had that bit of a response to it is the previous two that I've managed to put out were around the sacral and the carnelian, and the one I've just done was also around the sacral and the carnelian. So it seems that it is really important at the moment to be aware of our creative center and our emotional responses to the world around us, and what is it that we're creating? If we're reacting to things or having an emotional response to the situations around us, what are we doing with that? Are we getting lost in there and getting caught down a rabbit hole of emotions, or are we actually paying attention to them and gathering as much information as we can so that we can see the bits that are actually helping us create a world that feels more comfortable to live in? Or are we getting caught up in the fear and distractions and anxiety that can be quite debilitating and keeping us stuck in the same narrative? Or are we finding out the parts of it that can actually take our narrative forward into a different space? So I'm going to see which cards come out now for these. And to be honest, I'm still not convinced this is going to upload. But I continue to persevere. And it'll be a complete bizarreness if the cards are identical. And they're not. Oh, okay. So we've got the fish, the moon, and the snake. So the fish for me in this really is energy. And energy is the key at the moment. And where our energy is going. Is our energy getting stuck in our emotional responses to what we're being told what to do, what not to do? And then part of what I used in the previous one was talking about pruning a rose bush. And I feel like it's a really good analogy for coping with this. Well, it's not even coping with this time, but actually looking at how our energies are going. And it's really important to prune back those aspects of where our energy is flowing that is just sapping away, that isn't nurturing, that isn't about moving us forward. And our emotions and emotional responses can use a lot of energy, and even more energy, and sometimes we're not really aware of it, but a lot more energy to push things down, to not notice that we're becoming fearful. If we're afraid, if we're stressed, if we're anxious, fearful, all of those are really good emotional responses to inform us that something's not quite right. But it's when we get stuck in those that we lose energy. If we don't want to get stuck in those and we just push them away, and we don't want to deal with it, that uses a lot of energy. So actually what we need to try and do, to attempt to do, is sit with it and explore why we've got that response. What is it that we're fearful of? What is it that we're anxious about? Is there anything we can do about it? Can we move in a slightly different direction to give us a different outcome, to have a different feeling, to have a different sense? Can we dance it through? Can we sing it through? How can we be creative in the way that we react to it to give it a different energetic feel? Because it is possible. I believe it's possible. And sometimes it's a case of actually putting it into earth to have that transmuted, or putting it up to source energy and just saying that I don't understand this. It's not where I want to live. It's not how I want to feel. This is bigger than me. Can you help me to cope with it? And actually by verbalizing that, I'm often surprised at how well that works, and I end up finding that I have more energy to deal with it, that it's not living within me anymore. And sometimes it's how we deal with it creatively can give it more of an energy as well. So that's where I find journal writing helps, or journal writing, or drawing about it, something creative to change the feel of it. So giving it a different energetic marker, and really noticing that whether we're focusing on those negatives, I don't want to call them negatives, because all of these emotions are about giving us more information to help move our story along. But if we focus on the darker storylines, then a darker feel will come as we walk forward. Whereas if we focus on the lighter side of it, or the things that work, the synchronicities, then we'll attract more of that in. So we are really creating the space that we're living in. The moon energy, I know that we're around, and I'm a bit hazy, but I know that the new moon has either just been or is just in the process of coming in, and that's really about setting our intentions and really working with our sacral space and our creativity as to the world we'd like to live in. What is it that we would like more of in our life, and how can we go about bringing that in? And if we start with simple things like going out for more walks or just being outside, etc., that can actually raise our vibrations and actually help a lot. But I get the sense at the moment that a lot of the energies that we're walking through is like we're walking through this really misty landscape. And every now and again, the moonlight shines through, or a dark landscape, and the moonlight shows through enough for us to catch glimpses of the world and the landscape that we're actually in. And sometimes that's really lovely things, and other times they can be quite dark. But it's actually knowing that having more of an idea or a more complete picture is actually easier to cope with than what we're creating for ourselves, what stories we're adding onto it. And that's where a lot of the times we lose extra energy. And it's paying attention and being curious about that information that's coming in. It's like, okay, well, that is really dark, but is there something I can do about it? How can I respond to that isn't going to cripple me? But is actually going to lift me up and help me move forward. So very much that sort of energy. And then the last card is the snake. So as we find out more about where we're losing our energy, what we're bought into that is taking us down a darker route, as we find out more information, do we want to feed into that, or do we want to shed our skins in that way and actually move into a different direction? And really having a look at where these old stories are coming from and letting them go and shedding those particular belief systems or responses, the loops that we can get caught into, letting that go and shedding those skins and just clearing our energy and really coming back in, and very much with rooting down into earth underneath us, feeling more secure, less blown by the winds of our environment, and actually being more secure in what we know, how we feel, our authenticity, letting go of anything else that might get in the way of that, and shedding those skins. Yeah, that's what it feels like to me. And a lot of that with the shedding skins as well is letting go of, it's coming back to knowing where our anchor is and really anchoring into ourselves and anchoring into our authenticity, and letting go of anything that doesn't fund that or feed that. Letting go of falsehoods and sort of really trying to figure out how to live in our authentic self, and using the moon's rays to have a look within and see whether we are still holding on to outmoded storylines that don't serve us anymore, that isn't for our good. Really having a look at where we're allowing our energy to become scattered and tiring us out, and letting go of that as well, and really bringing it back within and really grounding. And as I say, asking for support from our higher self. But really noticing those synchronicities that really feel like they're coming in at the moment. And it's very easy to have a day or two of synchronicities and then feel like we backslide or get caught up in the narrative or get caught up in the sort of the undercurrents and the undertones and feel lost. So again, it's about taking time and space just to breathe through it and notice where we're losing energy following a particular train of thought, and how can we create a different response to it. How can we actually create more synchronicities and go into that flow as well. So yeah, I think that's it for this time. As I say, I don't know whether this is going to upload or not. Soon find out. Anyway, I'm going to see what sound comes through for us all. I have a feeling that the reason why the carnelian, the sacral, keeps coming up is because the time we're living in at the moment is very uncertain, quite all over the place, and constantly shifting. But it is the ideal opportunity to, and it's very chaotic, and it's the ideal opportunity to create an order for ourselves in going forward and create the world that we would like to live in, and having a look at the partnerships and relationships we have with other people and really focus on those, and have a look at what it is in that relationship that means so much to us, and how we're met in those relationships to help move us forward. Anyway, that's all for tonight. Hopefully I'll manage to get back on tomorrow, and I'm going to endeavour dealing with the level of patience and ensuring that my patience isn't tried, I guess. So take care of yourselves, and hopefully, as I say, I'll be back tomorrow. I hope this resonates for some of you. I really appreciate you bearing with me on this journey that I do feel like we're sharing. Anyway, love you all. Bye for now.